All right, not much happening on the markets. It's absolutely flat, but one stock is not flat at all, and that's Justdial. Look at that. Okay, we have the Nifty here, but here's Justdial down 3%. Bit of a recovery because it went down to 447 rupees and found some buying. And that could possibly be after the management cleared some doubts. And Vichitra Salotra, Senior Executive Editor, spoke to Justdial management just a short while back. Vichitra, a lot of confusion about Justdial, right? What is their business? They're trying to change their business model, but haven't succeeded yet.
Exactly, Anand. So, we've seen a reaction on the stock on back of revenues falling for the first time sequentially. But I wanted to understand what exactly is the current revenue model for Justdial, like what is the current revenue mix. So I caught up with the CFO of the company, Mr. Ramkumar Krishnamachari, and I started by asking him what is their current revenue mix.
Segment-wise, if you look at it, 99%, 98% revenue comes from search and 2% from Omni. About 5 crore odd from Omni, 2.5. So we continue to search, continue to drive our revenue mix, and that will continue to be so in at least next over several quarters.
So, sir, you've seen a drop in your revenues for the first time, sequential revenues for the first time. So, safe to say it's on back of your legacy legacy search business?
No, actually, definitely the slowdown has happened not only this in the previous quarter also, and that is something which is due to the fact that we have not executed on our sales expansion and the scale that we should have done to maintain the growth. But we have started doing it from previous quarter and current quarter also. We continue to expand. So the benefits of those expansion, you will see it happening. We should see the benefits from Q4 onwards, and FY18 is when we will see the full benefits of whatever that we have done during this year.
Sir, if I talk as a consumer, even if I have to search for a restaurant or a shop that I need to visit, I usually by tendency I go to Google and I search and I get the number. So in that scenario, how do I look at Justdial in terms of profitability, in terms of scalability for the future? How is Justdial going to compete with giants like Google?
See, legacy search is going to be a dominant part of our business, or our traffic will continue to be. India is a large country. The whole space is evolving. The whole segment is evolving. Now, normally people, there is two types of search: business search and category search. So we believe that we will continue to dominate in both these categories, while a lot of the business specific search can go on to Google. But when it comes to having the ratings and the reviews and the content, the superior content, people will come to Justdial, and Justdial is far superior when it comes to providing experience on search. We believe that will continue to be so. So we are also beefing up on the content space by we have launched JD Social. Consumers stay on our platform and due to the superior content, and we believe that we are far ahead when it comes to content as far as search is concerned. As far as Search Plus is concerned, certainly people today are not aware that they can do transaction on Justdial platform. But once we start the advertising, which we're going to launch soon in September, the awareness consumers will be communicated and sensitized about the several day-to-day transactions that they can do on Search Plus on a single app, and the convenience and the efficient way in which they can do it. So once the awareness is there, I'm confident that the consumers will see immense value and benefit in transacting. The sheer convenience factor is going to be what is going to drive consumers to our platform.
So again, I'm going to base my question on personal experience. That a lot of young consumers are actually shifting towards apps like Little Black Book, which are more localized. We can find out what's happening near about, and we tend to get a lot of new deals on that. So how does Justdial intend to counter competition from younger, new, more innovative apps?
We have, over the past 20 years, we have seen several LB black book like business coming. Fundamentals remain the same, and it's just that we have seen several of these companies try it out, and they have not been able to scale up or pose any credible challenge to Justdial. So, as a platform, we are confident as long as we provide superior search experience, superior content to my consumers, to users, which is what we are focusing on. Consumers will stick to us and be on our platform. It's very difficult right now for me to envisage a platform that will provide this kind of rich content, the multi-platform offering that Justdial does. Surely from a consumer standpoint, from a convenience as well as a content perspective. So even established players who were been there in the segment in which search, they are still struggling to gain scale. So I don't want to, as far as we are concerned, we are quite confident that given our the consumer experience that we provide as well as the content, we are confident that the consumers and the users will continue to use our platform.
So, sir, again, for example, when I'm searching for a restaurant that I want to visit, we tend to go into apps and look for the best deals, the best offers, which app is giving us the best offers, and usually we end up using that app for the same, and so do my peers. So, how do you, in this environment, in this sort of a consumer behavior, how do you intend to compete? How do you intend to succeed and survive in the app business? And with the heavy discounts that you need to offer to be able to have consumers like me stick to Justdial, isn't it going to start reflecting even more on your margins and your realizations?
No, honestly speaking, we have not been providing, we've not been giving any discount at all. We have stayed away from all those irrational business practices because we believe these are not sustainable, and we've already seen this happening. I mean, it's unimaginable that you can keep acquiring consumers like this, because what is going to happen is, just like what you said, you will go to a place where discount they are giving. Today, if your X stops, Y is going to give. Y stops, tomorrow Z is going to give. The consumers are going to keep shifting their loyalties, or actually there's no loyalty as such in this whole space. People will go wherever they find the best deal or wherever they get the best discount. But we believe this is sometime the tap is going to close, and then people will come back to normal this thing, and they're going to make some rational purchasing decisions, and businesses will come back to rationality. So that's what our belief is. We are going to stay away from all this. We are not concerned, even if we are consumers are going to go to other platforms to transact. We don't mind, but we are not going to spend money from our pocket to acquire consumers, because that's a very, very bad business practice, and we have no intention of getting into that boat.
So, sir, with this strategy, are you saying that you're willing to take a short-term hit, because you're definitely going to take a hit in terms of popularity, in terms of customer acquisition? So, it's okay for Justdial to take this immediate hit, the short-term hit, and you believe that this strategy is going to work for you in the long term?
We are running a marathon here. We believe that we will be one of the ones to be there at the end of the race. And we are not running a 200-meter sprint at this point of time. We have no hurry to buy consumers. Let's be very clear about it.
Okay, sir. The management has been speaking about ramping up their hirings for the last few quarters, and finally you have done that, and it's reflecting in your numbers. In fact, you've taken a margin hit based on that increased hiring. So what do you intend to do with this increased manpower? How are you going to use the new fresh hirings that you've done?
We are maintaining that we will add anywhere between 2,000 to 2,500 on the overall headcount, primarily on the sales force for FY17, and we are quite confident that we will add that headcount primarily on the sales force. So that we have no reason to believe that will change.
So we've seen recently companies like Flipkart, Grofers, they've actually taken back a lot of job offers that they had given. In that environment, you as Justdial, you're saying that you're going to continue increasing the hirings and you're going to stick to the hiring plan of yours?
These are necessary investment that we have to make right now, because short term it will be a pain. I believe there will be a long term gain for us in doing this, because today actually we are paying the price for not doing this year or two back. So that's why the growth has come down. And we believe that making these necessary investments will make sure that two investments that we are making right now, one on the sales force and second on the product and technology. Both these are medium to long term initiatives for us, and we are quite confident that if you look at the entire segment, it is under stress right now. The old euphoria and the hype that was there a year back has subdued right now, and we believe now is a good time and opportunity for us to make all these necessary investments, especially because we have a cash generating core business. We have cash in our books. We are going to make these necessary investments at this point of time.
Right, sir. So you just mentioned that you're going to continue investment into hirings, you're going to continue investing in products and technology. What about promotions? What kind of spend are we expecting as far as promotions are concerned, since that's one of the most important areas for Justdial to actually pump up their revenues?
Definitely, we are going to do that starting from September. We have already shot the ads with Mr. Bachchan. You should see our commercials being aired from September onwards.
So, sir, this is for the Search Plus, the new product Search Plus that you're starting from September, or you're ramping up for all your products?
Correct. It's a same platform. We are going to promote our platform, and Search Plus is going to be one of the important. The focus is going to be on Search Plus. Correct.
Okay, sir. So let's move on to JD Omni now. We've seen a lot of investment coming into Justdial for JD Omni as a product, but it's not showing in your growth figures. When you expect the growth to start coming into JD Omni?
So JD Omni, we have taken feedback from some of the customers that we have installed. Plus, we are rolling out Omni for services. And as a result of it, we are confident that we'll be able to scale up Omni in the next few quarters. Q1 has been a bit of a subdued quarter as far as Omni is concerned. So, but given the fact that we are making improvements to the product, we are confident that the market will be receptive to this, and we'll be able to scale up in the next few quarters.
Okay, sir. Okay, I'm just going to put the whole e-commerce space in perspective and ask you a question. We've recently seen deals like Flipkart and Jabong, big deals happening. E-commerce seems to be heading towards a consolidation phase now instead of just the growth phase. In that scenario, what is Justdial's plans? Are you looking for any inorganic growth already?
Correct. We do keep getting every few months, or rather the pace and intensity has increased of inbound inquiries for acquisition. We believe that, honestly speaking, I think there's not much assets out there that we can acquire meaningfully and integrate into Justdial. As you've seen, we are a horizontal play as far as goods search and transaction is concerned. And while we have partnered on certain verticals with some players, but we believe that if there are more than the existing business out there, if there are interesting pieces of technology that we can acquire and integrate and provide great consumer experience, we would be open to looking at that. Other than that, we don't find anything much interesting at this point of time.
Right. So with the current valuations that we are seeing as compared to last year, it might be right time to actually go shopping in the e-commerce space. Okay. So I'm going to move on and ask you to talk about the merger of the data information unit that you've just approved.
Correct. So, we are consolidating all our international assets into Justdial, and as part of that, the data and content unit, which is there in JD Global, we are demerging and bringing it back into Justdial, and the consideration for that is very nominal, and given the value of the firm. So it makes sense for us to integrate all that under Justdial from an international operations perspective.
Right, sir. So, Justdial Global Private Limited, what exactly does it do, and what is it? What is the current profile of clients right now?
It was primarily into the international business, generating content and database. And now that, as I said, we plan to roll up all the international assets and properties under the Justdial umbrella, which is why we saw last year JD Inc. Becoming a subsidiary for us. And this year we are bringing back the JD Global data and content unit into Justdial.
And how do you see this merger actually creating any shareholder value?
Definitely, there will be immense shareholder value because at some point of time the international business is going to be part of. We are going to launch it. We're already in soft launch mode in many of the countries, and as and when international scales up, shareholders will definitely see immense value in this.
Okay, sir. This is my last question to you. Again, keeping the overall broader e-commerce context in mind, where these days we are hearing more downs than ups about the sector as such. What exactly is Justdial's path? What is it looking for? Because, markets and investors right now seem to be a little nervous on the path that Justdial is on. So why don't you just put it in a nutshell and tell us what is Justdial's plan?
Justdial's plan is execute on core business, make sure that we run a tight ship. At the same time, we run a tight ship to make sure that remove all the inefficiencies that might be there. Make sure that you are expanding the sales force. Keep doing that. Make necessary investments on the product and technology side to provide superior consumer experience on our platform. At some point of time, once all these both core search and as far as Omni is concerned, make sure that you have the make the necessary tweaking to the product which we are doing, and scale it up with its own separate sales force, and scale all these three. Make sure that you execute on all these three initiatives, and as far as Search Plus is concerned, make sure that the consumer experience is great, the consumers comes back, minus all the deals and discounts, because we don't believe that you can buy consumers. So these are the four things that we are doing, and with the launch of commercials and the advertising, the awareness will certainly go up for as far as Search Plus is concerned. So we are quite confident on executing on all those four fronts.
Right, sir. And you remain confident that you can actually take on the mights of giants like Google?
We are a 20-year-old company. We have been executing. The consumers are with us. We continue to provide superior search and search experience. I'm certain that the consumers will continue to use our platform.
Right, Mr. Ramkumar Krishnavachari, thank you so much for joining us today on NDTV Profit. For all of you guys, stay with us. We're slipping into a quick break. On the other side, we have another financial head coming up.